It was a quiet night in our suburban neighborhood when the pounding started on the front door, 3 heavy knocks that echoed through the dark like thunder. The clock glowed 3:07 a.m. I jolted awake, my heart racing. Before I could even reach the hallway, a man's voice barked, "Open up." HOA inspection. His tone was sharp, arrogant, dripping with false authority. My son, Jake, a Marine recently home from deployment, was already out of his room, his instincts razor sharp. He silently motioned for me to stay back. The man outside kept yelling, claiming we were in violation of some neighborhood noise policy, which was absurd since everyone was asleep. Jake peeked through the window and saw 2 strangers dressed in cheap polo shirts with fake HOA security badges. Something felt terribly wrong. Jake whispered, "They're not real." The men started kicking the door, demanding entry. That's when Jake moved fast. He grabbed his licensed firearm, stood behind the door, and shouted in a commanding Marine tone, "You've got 5 seconds to back off before I call the cops." But they didn't stop. One of them tried forcing the lock open. Suddenly, Jake fired a warning shot straight into the porch light above them, shattering glass and plunging everything into darkness. The intruders screamed, stumbled back, and ran into the night. Within minutes, real police arrived. Jake had already called them. Turns out those HOA officers were part of a group targeting homes, pretending to be neighborhood enforcers to rob people. The cops praised Jake for his quick reaction. When morning came, neighbors gathered, buzzing about the incident, shocked but grateful it hadn't gone worse. As for the fake HOA tough guys, they were arrested later that week. Jake became a quiet hero in our street, though he just shrugged and said, "Once a Marine, always a Marine." That night taught everyone a lesson: never mess with a Marine's home, or a mother who raised one. A week had passed since that terrifying night, but the echoes of those 3 a.m. kicks still haunted our sleep. I'd wake at every creak, thinking someone was at the door again. Jake, though calm on the surface, kept checking the security cameras he'd installed the very next morning, 8 of them, covering every corner. One afternoon, as I was watering the front garden, a slick-looking man in a suit pulled up in a shiny black car. He introduced himself as Mr. Caldwell, claiming to be the real president of the HOA. He smiled too wide, his tone too smooth. "We heard about the incident," he said, "and we'd like to discuss your son's actions." My stomach dropped. Something about his polished shoes and forced politeness didn't sit right. Jake stepped outside, his eyes cold, posture straight, Marine mode activated. "Funny," he said flatly, "because the real HOA president is Mrs. Daniels, and she's been out of town for 2 weeks. The man froze for half a second, then laughed awkwardly, saying it was a misunderstanding. But before he could retreat, Jake snapped a picture of his license plate. That night, he ran the plate through a veteran buddy at the local precinct. It traced back to one of the fake HOA gang's ringleaders, out on bail. Jake didn't wait. He alerted the cops, who set up surveillance around our block. Sure enough, 2 nights later, a van crept through the neighborhood with its lights off. The police swarmed in, catching the entire crew red-handed. They found burglary tools, fake uniforms, and a printed list of target homes, ours at the top. When the officers thanked Jake again, he just nodded quietly, though I saw pride flicker in his eyes. The news spread fast, turning our quiet suburb into a fortress of vigilance. Neighbors installed cameras, held meetings, even baked Jake pies to thank him. As for me, every night before bed, I'd glance at the bullet hole still marking the porch beam, a silent reminder that courage doesn't sleep, and justice sometimes wears dog tags.